was a really hard thing to say or to talk about because it was a really big pain point in my life. And it could have been a place that, oh God, not again, Rachel, not again. But I think that sometimes you go through things so that we are able to help others, or so that when we speak, we're able to encourage someone who is going through something similar. And if whatever I've said today can help even one person feel better about themselves or even laugh at me, I've done my part. Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. Today we're speaking about heartbreak, and I just started by breaking my own heart. Listen, half of this video I did not have my lipstick on. I did not realize it until my sneaky link came in. The baby daddy, I mean. That's when I realized, damn, I don't have lipstick on, so just flow along. Eventually I'll look like this. So here's the thing. Around the time during Valentine's season is a very triggering season for most people, especially if you're going through a heartbreak or you're healing through a situation, because when you turn on TV, it's all love painted on your face. Instagram, everybody is in love doing this. On the street, it's all over. And if you're someone who's going through a hard time, it can be extremely triggering. And that's why today I'm going to use my story, myself, my situation to talk to you guys. Maybe you get a tip here and there. You can forward this to a friend. You can sit down and laugh, and you can even judge me. Please type all the judgments and stuff in the comments. I love to read it. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. It really helps. It costs you nothing. It helps with the algorithm, and I'm so grateful for all of you who are loving Rach Flicks. It's a hit, and it makes me so excited and so inspired to make for you good content. I know you're wondering why should I listen? Listen guys, I have gone through the University of Heartbreak, and I graduated first class with 2 majors. Okay, I have had 3 significant breakups in my life, and by significant I mean those breakups that you actually have to go through. One was friendship, so maybe the friendship one we can discuss it another time, but I will tell you how it ties into this. And before you say friendship breakup is not the same as romantic, just hear me out. Hear me out. It's one thing if you break up with a friend that you've known probably for a year or 2, and you have shared all your secrets, and maybe they have your nudes or whatever, and they can leak it out. They can leak it and ruin your reputation, ruin your legacy, embarrass you. There's that. But then there's also a different kind of friendship breakup, and this is when you break up with a friend that you've known through childhood or for a decade or more. And in my case, why this was a painful experience was because I went through a friendship breakup at the same time when I was going through a major romantic breakup. Because of that, I had to go through like a mourning phase of loss for both relationships. And this one for friendship, I think I just put it on the side and discuss it another day. So today we can purely focus on my romantic shenanigans, because girl, a girl loves romance. I walk with my heart on my sleeves, and like girl, I'll be going through it. I'll be going through it sometimes. The first one is the sneaky link. This was probably your friend's idea. You know, it wasn't supposed to mean anything. It was supposed to be like a one-night stand. He hits it twice, but now your conscience is wondering, am I a hoe? And because you don't want to just admit that and move on, you decide to turn a sneaky link into a relationship. Listen, whatever you do, do not turn a sneaky link into a relationship. You know he's married. It will never end well. Or he's probably a guy who was in the friend zone for a while, and maybe could have just been a friendship with benefits situation, but then somebody ends up catching feelings and you start dating. He's probably ugly, but then he has a good personality, and that's why you're hitting it with him. You're not into him in any way, shape or form, but somehow he plays you. In the process of this all, he plays you, and you're like, what? Roses are red, he's a 2, you're a 10, you'll find another one, he will never find another you, period. You go out with your friends, you drink, you talk shit, it's over. Those ones are the easiest. The second one, the toxic lover, he's a 7, so that's pretty good for a guy. He's tall, the red flags are all over, and they kind of look pink to you because, you know, when they're tall, girl. Your friends have warned you about it, even family sometimes, but you do it anyway because, you know, it's a serious relationship. At least in the beginning, it's a serious relationship. You both want the same things. He is fun, he is young, he is exciting. Like, you guys are just wild, like you're wilding it out there. The relationship is intense. It's just like, you know, those those relationships that you get into and you forget your friends. It's more like a crazy in love situation. It's exciting. You guys are booed up on Instagram. Like it is relationship goals and all. These are the relationships that leave you crazy. Like, you screaming, you want to slash their car or burst their window or turn the house into flames. The crash is unbelievably hard. I remember going through something like this and I just remember screaming, like, you know, the ugly cry, like, ah, you know, like you know when you ugly cry, you're just screaming so much because your brain hasn't had a moment to process everything that has happened so intensely and how crazy the situation has ended. Like, no answers, nothing, it's over, and it's so painful. The character development for this one is unpredictable. You might end up a whole or a motivational speaker. Like, you just don't know. What makes this hard to process or to go through is like, your friends told you you shouldn't. The red flags were obvious for everybody except you. And now you have nobody to go to, because when your friends were telling you, you're not listening, your family don't know about it, nobody knows about it. It's only you and your feelings and your heart, and you gotta cry it out. Give yourself 3 days, close yourself in, ugly cry, but then pick yourself up, take accountability, and move on. Like, there is no pity party here, nothing, no girl. You put this on yourself. You gotta take accountability and move forward. This relationship did not last a year. It was probably a hot fling, and that's it. Move on. It's that simple. The third and the most serious category of breakups is the breakup with the good guy. I mean, on a scale of ugly, he's a 5. Your family like him, your friends like him. It's a serious relationship. It's a secure relationship. You are all into this. You guys have been together for a while. It's a commitment. You guys have a future, and you're actually working towards a future. You guys are probably even, most serious cases, married. Like, it's a solid relationship. There is no doubt about it. This is, at least in your mind, you think should have been the it relationship. Like, that was it for you. You weren't looking, and your partner probably wasn't looking. It was that relationship. Or it can be a relationship with a very manipulative person, and the manipulation that you cannot put your fingers on, and that happens over a long period of time. And by the time this relationship is over, it's almost like you don't know yourself. When this relationship ends, it's never like a dramatic end. It's just like when both of you, or at least one side, have tried so much that there is no other way, and it tends to end, at least in the beginning, quite almost like smoothly, like, okay, we've tried it, but we're not doing this relationship thing anymore, or whichever reason. The healing process for this one is deep. You have to be willing to do the work to heal from this relationship. And if you do not heal from this one, you will be damaged for a really, really long time. That said, I just want to give you guys some tips that I used myself when I was going through probably the most difficult breakup. And I guess for me, when I went through this, it was so hard because I not only had to deal with the pain of going through a breakup, I also had to deal with the shame of it having had a public relationship and having a lot of people involved, and that was really difficult. And if I tell you that sometimes you'll be out here like living, just trying your best as a human being to live, just to manage, and somebody somewhere just finds ways to trigger you, and it was a real hard back and forth thing for me. And because of that, my healing process was definitely different from other people, and whatever I share, I hope it can help you. It is very, very personal to what I did. So first of all, in my case, was to separate myself completely from this person and find my own space where I had a little bit of I had a chance to just focus on me. First things first, you have to take it minute by minute. I will not even tell you take it one day at a time, because sometimes it was so painful that I could not think the whole day. Like, I did not have a space to think of the whole day. I had to take it 1 minute at a time. 30 minutes, if I went for 30 minutes without just being in excruciating pain, I would be so happy. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm having progress. So take it 1 minute at a time. Secondly is to surround yourself with love and find ways to meet your needs. And by surrounding yourself with love is one, have a family member close. In my case, I didn't because my family members are not here. You can have a family member, friend, and something to take care of. So it can be a pet, and in my case, a plant. Yeah, mom. In my case, it was a plant. A family member will help you have like a sense of belonging, because there's also that, like when you lose someone like this, he was your family, and there was like a sense of belonging when you guys were together, because you belonged, like you felt like, okay, this is my tribe, this is my person, like this is basically family. And when that is taken away and you don't have family close by, child, my titties are itching me. A friend is good because friends will help you unpack things, but do not be careful to not overload things on your friends. But also a friend will be there to get you wine on rainy days and pizza, so you can just sit with your pajamas. A friend will help you get out of your pajamas, go out, and just kind of remind you who you are or who you were before the relationship, especially if it's a friend that you have known for a while. Or they can even just help you sit down, watch some comedy show together at home, cry, eat pizza, and just give you that comfort, so you don't feel super lonely, at least all the time. And having something to be responsible for, it can kind of help you get out of your mind for a few minutes. And sometimes that's all you need. Watching that plant bloom or watching your pet run around. For me, just watching my plant bloom flowers, and at the time I had so many flowers, it helped me so much to just feel better. Smelling the flowers around, it just, oh, it was a good. And you know, it's so funny that like I was so into flowers at the time that now I don't like flowers as much, because it's almost like a reminder of that time when I was going through a really hard time. So it's like, ooh, I can stay away from flowers for a while, but at the time they were such a healing thing for me. It just helped me surrounding myself with a beautiful home. So I really made my apartment super, it's a small place, but I made it super luxurious and nice for myself, that when I'm in my apartment and I feel low, I would still feel good, because I surrounded myself with things that looked good around me. I always had flowers at home, or rather the guy that I was dating at the time, I dated some romantic guy there. He was busy washing me with flowers, but at the time I was still going through my heartbreak, and it was helping me just watching these beautiful things around me. Clean house. Listen, you gotta clean your house. And by cleaning your house, I don't necessarily mean like physically clean, but remove things that remind you of this person, whether it's unfollowing on social media, whether it's pictures that you have together, whether it's even mutual friends. And there is no shame to this. You can tell a mutual friend, hey, listen, since you guys still hang out and I don't want to interfere, just for the sake of my own healing and like mental well-being, I might need to mute you, or I might like just for, and a friend who understands will understand that, and just do that. Mute friends, and even mute accounts that trigger you in a way. Like if you see this account that is constantly reminding you of your previous situation with this person, mute it, unfollow, block it. Also absorb your environment. So for me, in that case, I really made sure that my place was really nice, and I kept my home smelling really good, so that even if I'm on my couch crying, it'd be smelling nice in here. And that just helped me to not completely lose myself. And maybe that's something that I'm really grateful for. Like, even though I was going through a really difficult time, the one thing I know I did not do was lose myself completely. Like, I didn't. And it's okay to lose yourself if that's where your journey takes you, but in my case, I felt like losing myself could have dipped me even more into misery. Find something to keep you busy. Listen, I did not say someone, do not recommend it, 10 out of 10 I did that. Find something to keep you busy. In my case, I had both. I had someone, but I also had gym. So I worked out a lot, and I made sure I looked hot. I looked hot for my distraction. My whole Remember, it should be a distraction, not a distraction. Okay, there's a difference. There's something about like when you take care of yourself, especially when you're going through this process, it boosts your self-esteem so much, and it really stops you from feeling sorry for yourself all the time, because then I could be heartbroken but I'm hot. Like, you know, at this point probably I've reached the times when I could take it a day at a time. I'll be like, ooh, maybe I cried myself to sleep last night, but I woke up and this stomach be flat. If you can, at this point, I would recommend getting therapy. And I know this is not for everyone, like it's not accessible to everyone, but there's so many online places where you can find therapy. Listen, your friend is not your therapist. In fact, I don't recommend like constantly whining on your friends and telling them this and that. Like, it gets tiresome. And it's not because they are not a bad friend for feeling tired of you and packing on them all the time, and it's because your friends care about you. They absorb your emotions, and of course they will be biased in a way because they love you. But if you find a therapist, you are able to like unpack things on a neutral ground. If you cannot find a therapist, just find someone who you can talk to that is not necessarily your friend or a close family member, and just talk to them just to help you unpack things. You have to be kind to yourself and give yourself grace. Here's the thing, healing, and I'm sure you've all had this, is not a linear process. It's messy. One time, like I remember I could go for like a week or a month and I'm just fine, like I'm doing good, I'm doing fine or something, and just like this out of nowhere I'll get triggered by something. I'm like, oh my god, what? Why did that trigger me? Why? But since I was consciously aware of how this healing process works, I gave myself grace to experience that. So whenever that happened, I did not beat myself up so much, and I would allow you, give yourself permission that if you ever go through a phase where, oh my god, I feel like I'm back to, no, you're not back to zero, you are healing. It might feel like you're back to zero, but you're not really back to zero. You just, whoo, someone is in here. Now we are back, and now I have my lipstick on, thanks to my baby daddy for coming through. All right, now we're going to talk about your mind. You have to be mindful of what you tell yourself. Negative self-talk will catapult you into misery. And you have to be mindful, like what are you looking at? Which news, which pictures, which information are you absorbing? You have to be mindful of how you talk to yourself, even the days that you don't really feel your best. And find little ways to celebrate yourself or celebrate little things about you, because when you celebrate yourself, God or the universe will give you more things to celebrate. And it's those little wins that will build up into evidence that will make you know that, okay, I can still be happy despite the fact, yes, I've broken, yes, but I can still be happy. Or there is these things that I actually do right that keep me happy. Evidence. You know, sometimes during a breakup, you might start feeling like you'll be alone forever, but this is not true. Like, just look around. There are so many people who've been in a similar situations. They've been in a similar situation. They've been able to turn it around, and you can use these people as your inspiration. Be like, okay, if this person did it, of course I can. And the last tip that I will give you that I have done and continuously do, or I'm learning how to do better, is to romanticize your life. Honey, listen, you have to fall in love with your life. Take yourself on that date, or if you have a bathtub at home, set it up, put your candles, listen to a book, or look at read a nice magazine or whatever. Get yourself some nice champagne. If you're into champagne, take yourself on oysters and champagne date, right? Call me if you do that. But what I mean is, find little ways to reward yourself and also to romanticize your own life. You'll find yourself falling so much in love with yourself and your own life that you will not let anyone come to distract it. And when your vision is so clear, you know exactly what you want and you're intentional about it. You have worked on your mind and you've worked on your body and your spirit is high, but also you're falling in love with your life and you're falling in love with your existence. It will be so hard for just anyone to walk into it and like mess it up, because right now where you are, you've reached a level up so much that nobody is just allowed into your space like that. And if they are to come in, they have to be so amazing that they have actually earned the spot in your life. And this is not in a jaded way, honestly, no. It's just about self-respect, like respecting yourself. And once you've gone through such a hard process, you have to respect yourself enough that you do not let almost anybody have access to you, and that includes sneaky links. At some point when you have worked so much on yourself and you feel good and like you feel amazing, you look amazing, you sit back and realize you are actually the girl that he could never have in his wildest dreams. And is that freeing? And it's not even for him, because at this point, normally when you've reached at this point, the memory of this person is so distant that you kind of have to consciously think to remember it. But also, even when you do, you don't necessarily feel like hurt. You're just like, oh, I actually can't believe I can't believe I settled for a 5 when I could have gotten a 10. No, that's shallow. But I mean, once you've fallen so much in love with yourself and with your life, and you are doing things consciously to improve yourself and level up, you become a completely different woman, and definitely a woman who he can never have. He can only dream. And that means even the men that you attract, the people that you hang out, they have to be of value, just like the woman you are, a woman of value. When you've gone through something as difficult as this, as much as it might not seem like that in the beginning, it's definitely a major growth point. And when you grow up, or when you grow from certain things, you will never be the same. And that adds to your value. So your breakup doesn't take from you. It doesn't take from your value. It adds into your value, especially when you do the work that it takes to improve yourself. And I want to hear your stories below. How have you dealt with situations? And for me, this was a really hard thing to say or to talk about, because it was a really big pain point in my life, and it could have been a place that, oh God, not again, Rachel, not again. But I think that sometimes you go through things so that we are able to help others, or so that when we speak, we are able to encourage someone who is going through something similar. And if whatever I've said today can help even one person feel better about themselves, or even laugh at me, I've done my part. Until then, girls, I wish you the best, and take care of yourself and love yourself. Okay, bye. Dump him.